I'm Dennis Williams from CashMap Consulting, and thanks for joining me for this new video called Create Your Own Line of Credit Solution. This video focuses on my new product that I recently launched on my website at www.dennis-williams.com that gives you the ability of being able to take and create your own set of numbers and see firsthand the dollars you can save by keeping your money working 24/7. The concepts are easy, but there's nothing better than being able to create your own solution, play with the options, and actually see the kinds of savings that you can realize in the first 12 months. Let's get started. The first thing that you want to be able to do is when you download this file from my website, is create a blank backup file. This will enable you as you create new solutions to know that you've always got a clean backup as you move forward and just try experimenting with just the wide range of options that you have. After you do that, you're going to go to the worksheet labeled income. And the dollars that you actually deposit, you're going to note the date, the amount, and the description for each one. And you'll notice that as you enter it in the first month, it automatically copies it to the next 11. If you decide that you want to have a change, there's a change coming, and you wanted to say make a change in month 6, then go ahead and make the adjustment and it'll automatically copy it to the remaining 5 months. You're going to do exactly the same thing for the expenses. You're going to input your expenses, they automatically copy to the remaining 11 months. And you'll notice that the Excel worksheet will be picking up the amounts that you enter for each of the dates. Once that is done, and I might add, you must make sure that your income is more than your expenses, because otherwise you'll get an error message and it will not allow you to go forward. After this is done, you're now going to select the date and the amount you plan to save each month as a part of an ongoing savings plan. These are dollars that are after tax, not pre-tax, because if it's pre-tax, that was taken out before you ever had your dollars to be able to deposit into your checking account or now into your line of credit. So as an example, we see here that we're putting aside $300 a month. We're doing it on the 30th of the month. And when we begin our first month solution, we're not going to put aside savings in that first month. That's what the end means. That's kind of what I usually do. The next thing that you're going to do is we're going to focus on the dollars that you're going to take out for that initial draw from the bank that you're going to make as a big payment to the particular loan that you have in mind wanting to get rid of. You have the flexibility of being able to split it between a couple of pay periods of when you know you're moving your income in. So the idea is you want to try at all times to kind of minimize the balance on your line of credit. So in this example, we put yes. You'll see that the yellow underneath that is the default amount of $4,700, and that's going to come out on the 1st. The second payment will come out on the 15th for $300. Now, if I've decided I have a larger amount or any adjusted amount, any dollar amount entered into this green box where the $5,200 is will override the yellow box above. And similarly, you can see that I have the flexibility if I've inputted $175 here, and so I'm going to be taking out $5,025 on the 1st and $175 on the 15th. And we'll see how that looks on this grid here. There it is. On the 1st, we're going to be drawing $5,025 from the line of credit and applying it to our loan. And then on the 15th, $175. You'll notice that when we do that, because we've shifted all of our living expenses to near the end of the month, the balance is 0. So at the end of the month, the average daily balance for the 30 days is just $1,086. That means that my interest owed is just $4.07. Next, what we're going to do is we're going to determine what our billing date is going to be for our line of credit billing cycle. That's the period that the bank uses to calculate your interest. So you want to know what that is. So in this particular case, it's the first. So meaning the first day of the month of the billing cycle is the first, and the last day is the 30th of the month. You'll see that in the yellow boxes above, the total interest that we're going to be saving over the life of the loan. This takes into account the dollars that we're paying on the line of credit. The next one shows what that would be if we were to exclude that amount. And $25.21 is what we're actually paying in interest for this first year. Now, if I had happened to make my beginning billing date on the 14th and didn't change anything else, you can see what the effect immediately is. It's going to go jump up to $229.32. So again, this is one of the things you can play with in order to see just how you can save the most money. So if you actually go and, again, it walks through what the actual savings are, you can see that now, because the beginning of the billing cycle is on the 15th, the mortgage payment shows up on top. You'll see that our household expenses are on the 28th, so that keeps our balance higher now. And you can see our monthly income of the first is actually coming in near the middle or end of the month. The effect of that is the average daily balance is now $2,900, and the interest that we end up going to be paying is going to be $10.90. So again, the timing in which you schedule your payments in your billing cycle definitely has an effect on the interest that you're going to be paying. The next thing that you're going to look at is deciding whether or not in that first month, if there's an opportunity to take an additional draw, do you want to do that? In this scenario, we've got it as yes. Again, you can adjust it and see what the effect is. The other item you want to note is whether or not your bank allows you to carry a credit balance. Some banks do not. Many banks will allow it, and they will refund you if it's there for 30 days. That's a great feature to end up having, but in the product, you'll have the ability of turning this switch on or off, and you'll see that under item D here in the line of credit information section. Right now, the way we have our settings in which it is allowing a credit balance, that the interest that we're going to be paying is just $25.21. The other option that we have is whether or not we want to use the features of how aggressive we're withdrawing, like what I have in CashMap, my iPad application. And in this scenario, we do. If I take it out, it's more conservative. And when I do that, you'll see that now the interest paid goes up to $73, but similarly, you also note that I'm also increasing my savings to now over $46,000. In the 12th month of the program on the tab, you actually will be able to have a recap of what's happened the previous 11 months. And so in this scenario, in the first month, you'll see that the ending balance was $227,000. By the time we get to month 12, we're at $215,000. Similarly, if you had done it the traditional way, your total principal payments would have been just $3,600. But using the CashMap line of credit strategy, your principal payments are $17,455. You also can see what your interest savings are, the total interest that you paid, and the total schedule interest you paid as well if you had done it the usual way. Also on the 12th month, you'll see month by month what your draw amounts were. You also will see what that was cumulatively, what the average daily balance was at the end of your billing cycle that you designated, what you actually owed on your line of credit, the interest that you pay for each month, what that is cumulatively, what that comes out to on an effective interest rate. You can see just how low that is. No bank would ever give you an effective interest rate that low. And on the day before the end of the month, what the balance is that you'll owe. Further down the page, you can see on the 1st, 15th, and 30th the amount that you owe on your line of credit, as well as what the average daily balance was at that point in the month. So it gives you a fairly complete picture. Now, if you want to end up learning more, again, you want to create as many scenarios that you can just think of, and immediately as you make the adjustment, you'll see the effect and it'll increase your comfort. You can also learn more by going to my website at www.dennis-williams.com and reviewing over 70 articles that I've written on a range of topics on managing your line of credit and saving money and budgeting. You can also purchase my ebook. There's one that's a condensed version called Working Your Lazy Dollars, as well as the full version. And you can access my interactive tools. And for those people, and this is fairly frequently I run into this, that you just need some coaching. And it usually takes just 90 minutes just to be able to look at your scenario, look at what your particular bank's terms are for your line of credit, and to ask any questions that you have. I do provide that consulting service. So you can email me at Dennis@CashMap Consulting with any questions, suggestions, or you might have bumped into a problem. And lastly, you can purchase the iPad application CashMap in the Apple Store that actually enables you to kind of take this strategy and see what the effect is over the next 15 years, both on paying off a loan as well as boosting and seeing what you can accumulate in savings. I want to